All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the DATAcated Show. My name is Kate Strashny. I'm the founder of DATAcated, and I will be your host for today's show. Now, today we have a slightly different topic than I normally talk about, which is usually data analytics, AI, and machine learning. Today, we're talking about B2B marketing content for tech brands, basically taking things to the next level. And who better to join me than Scott Taylor, the data whisperer? He's been sort of my partner in crime for the past couple of years as we've been exploring various ways to cut through the noise when it comes to sharing content on social media and off social media for data analytics, AI, and machine learning. So, before I bring Scott on our stage, I want to tell you a little bit about our story. So, we'll start here. This was at LinkedIn headquarters. We have Zach Scriven on the left, me in the middle, and Scott over on the right. We sort of met up almost by accident. I was meant to meet up with Zach to do a live show at the LinkedIn headquarters, and not sure how Scott managed to get in there, but he did. I think maybe Zach messaged him. When I bring Scott up on stage, he'll tell you the story. But we had a great live show. We had a lot of fun. So that's sort of where we met. Fast forward, we did a lot of shows together. This was a show we did in 2020 about building your personal brand in data, which takes us about 4 years back now. Greg McLaughlin created a little Mount Rushmore image with Scott, Susan, myself, and George. So we were on a mountain at some point. Scott is very dedicated, so this was an impromptu sort of creators meetup that I had in New Jersey. This was our creator lunch that we went for. Scott gave me a couple truth hats. This is one of them. I've got an orange one somewhere in my closet as well, which I should have brought, but next time. He's all about getting truth from data. We went to several data conferences. This was the one where Kathy O'Neill was speaking. I don't remember the event itself, but I do remember the speaker. This is at, I believe, Informatica. Yep, we went to an event in New York City. Scott, I told you I have lots of pictures. This is a celebration graduation from the CDO summer school from Caroline Carruthers and Peter Jackson. Scott loves my book. So this is that at the AI Summit. He wanted a picture with my colorized book. And of course, I had to let him have a picture. Here's another picture of Scott with a bee. He has an affinity for bees. We'll get into that a little bit later. This is at Big Data London, where we got these Funko toys, dolls. And we've got one for 10 of the Data Avengers. And I've still got mine behind me there, still unopened, so mint condition. And I know Scott has his as well, which he could show you when he's on the stage. This is the other AI Summit. So this is the year after we came back to the AI Summit. This was at Javits Center, actually. This was a Salesforce conference where we had some fun as well. Gartner in Orlando, we had a great show and we did lots of content at that event. Data Universe, we came back to the Javits Center once again, where we actually had even more fun. We had our own booth. We'll talk more about that when Scott's on the show. And this was one of the highlights of our friendship here is when Scott sort of saved the day when we were on a panel with 4 people and I talked with my hands. So I accidentally smacked a bottle off stage as I was saying my piece. And without hesitation, Scott knocked his water bottle down instantly, which was awesome. And so, yeah, Scott is the most dedicated. He was the first member of my dedicated circle community back when that was still a thing. So I really appreciate all the support. And I'm going to go ahead and bring him up on our stage now. Scott, welcome to the DATAcated Show. Was that a lot? I told you there was a lot.
That was wonderful. A nice little photographic journey through our friendship, starting at the Empire State Building. That crazy day. Great to see you as always, Kate. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Well, before we get into our topic and all the cool stuff, let's start with just telling the audience, who are you really? I'll give you the stage. Tell folks who you are.
Who am I really? Scott Taylor, the data whisperer. I help calm data down. I'm an independent content creator that helps tech brands and enterprises tell a better data story to get engagement from key executives, the C-suite. How do you get funding? I wrote a book called Telling Your Data Story, Data Storytelling for Data Management. Got a couple copies right here, right there, which is a way to put a business accessible narrative together to support your data management engagement at your company. And it's kind of blossomed into helping people sell in data of any sort into the business. I love doing content in the space. Meeting up with Kate has certainly accelerated my ability to do stuff. We'll talk about the ways we go about it. But if you're out there and you have a message and you want to get more engagement around why data management is important for your organization, I'm your guy.
And is data management really important, Scott? How do you feel about that?
It's kind of it's the same story. People ask me about it and go, well, why is data management important? When I say data management too, I mean where data starts. This idea of determining the truth in your data before you derive meaning out of analytics and BI and Gen AI and all the wonderful, cool, hot, sexy stuff that's going on now. If you don't have the right data going in, you can't get the right meaning coming out of it. It's that classic GIGO. I feel like it's Beethoven's Fifth. GIGO, GIGO. I just riff on that, but
Goodness in, goodness out, right?
goodness in, goodness out is a nice way to put it. But somebody has to be out there just kind of yelling, telling, and selling about the power and value of data management, because people get distracted by what they think the outcome is going to be in these days, Gen AI, let's say, and they don't realize when it doesn't work, most of the time, it's because the data going in wasn't any good.
Yelling, telling, and selling, and whispering.
And whispering, yes. And so
Yes.
for those of you just meeting me, spoiler alert, the data whisperer, but I don't do a whole lot of whispering. We save that for the data.
Yes. So, Scott, we're here to talk about B2B marketing, business to business versus B2C, which is business to consumer. And I want to first ask you, is there a difference in your mind, and which one is tougher to do, you think?
There's a huge difference, because when somebody's selling something to you as a consumer, you're buying it for yourself, your family, for your personal reasons.
Yeah.
When they're selling you something as a business, you are actually representing the needs of your own company and enterprise. So it's not always just your decision. It's rare that a B2B sale happens with one person making a decision. You've got to align whatever your offering is to the strategic approach of that particular company. You've got to put content out there to have them understand even who your brand is in some cases, or some of these legacy brands out there to continue to reinforce why those brands are even relevant today. There's a whole host of different tactics, but as usual, B2B tends to follow B2C. So there's that whole idea of influencer marketing, content creation, the ability to bring kind of some fun and some sizzle and some excitement and some entertainment with an important business message. That's kind of, I think you and I are really in the center of a lot of that with the tech brands these days, and it's definitely blossoming. We're having a ball do it. The brands are excited. The brands are it's resonating with what they're trying to do, and it's a way to cut through that clutter. Regardless, whether it's B2C or B2B, you've still got to get your message to the right audience and the right context so they will take some sort of action.
Yes, exactly. I'm just looking out in the comments here. So Lights on Data's here saying B2B marketing needs a change. And guess who else? We've got the Michael Gilday.
Hey, Michael Gilday.
From Deep Vibe. He's
our other
here.
partner, our other true partner in content creation. We're going to be talking all about your work today, Gilday. So thank you for joining us.
Yes.
How's my sound, by the way? Give us notes on our production later, will you?
Yes, how's our sound? How's the lights? Are the lights good, right? So yes, Gilday has a company called Deep Vibe. They are a creative agency. They do great video content and digital content and all types of content. And they're also very creative and fun and cool people. But the show's not about Deep Vibe, but we gotta squeeze that in there. And Paul was saying hello here. So okay.
Hey Paul. Nice to see you. Nice to see our friends coming in, supporting the cause.
Of course,
Gilday,
of course.
I mean, Deep Vibe and Gilday are part of our approach to do a number of things. And one is to upgrade the production value, the production levels of what we produce with content. Don't ask me about your sound. My sound okay?
I don't think he likes
I
her
don't know.
sound. Is
I
it
don't
the
know.
metal on my jacket?
That might be a reference to something earlier. We won't know. But that,
All right. So
because we all started off kind of shooting with our phone, and we think we're one-man bands out there with a bunch of stuff. But you'll see some samples, and if you've seen some of the things we've done lately, and more of it to come,
yeah.
I believe it helps us really stand out, and the messaging stand out, and makes the brands look fantastic, and the folks we're talking to look great, and we look
Yes.
great, and it makes a difference. It makes a difference.
The phone can only take you so far. Ever since I started working with D5, people have been messaging me like, "Hey, your content is just looking so great." I'm like, "Yeah, thanks. It's not me,
Yeah.
but thanks." That's
Part of it is because the shot's not from here.
yeah. Or on a tripod where it's just
Right.
standing.
Right.
All right. So Scott, I want to ask, and this has happened to me before. When we're posting as people, posting on social media content, we sound like people. When we start posting on behalf of a company page or on behalf of a brand, sometimes we turn into these stiff professional robots. How do we avoid doing that? Like, how do we break through the whole I'm a company now and this is what I need to sound like?
It's that concept of authenticity. Can you say it like you mean it? And that I think that's part of it. And I know we both try to work with brands where we understand what their value proposition is. We really do believe in what they're trying to do, and that comes across in emotion and intonation, in our focus, in our intensity, in our commitment to what we're saying. And so you've got to be authentic. And I think it was Laurence Olivier who said, "Well, you got to be authentic, and if you can fake that, you got it made." But there is this, on the serious side, some brand representatives or company representatives feel like they have to be this sort of stiff corporate. I am a brand. Here is my benefit. Here is a demo. And I just feel like, especially with the onslaught of the consumer type of content that people are so used to, that that can't be the only way. So we're not suggesting by any means you should stop writing white papers, although I've stopped writing white papers and started doing puppet shows. It's a lot more fun. But you have to expand your range of the way you deliver the message. And the more ways you can deliver a message in some cases, the better shot you have of hitting your target, because not everybody likes everything, and everybody won't see everything. And some things resonate more with some folks than others. So the idea of having that range, and I think both of us have really incredible range in terms of the way we can deliver a message.
And have you seen your clients sort of break out of their shell and have this ability to experiment a bit more, have more flexibility in how they show up?
I think so. Yeah. I think some of the stuff they do with us. I mean, when we take a look at some of the data venture activity, you see how Doug at Ontatext just dove right in, how Adrian at Starburst, will show you some pictures there of these guys, just went right for it. And I think if you can help people along there, sometimes you need to help people kind of take the leap. Am I the only one goofing around? Am I the only one trying to be on the edge? Or do I have a little bit of comfort zone here because these folks like us are around them? I think it helps, but you get into the human part of people, because it's not a natural thing to be stiff and robotic. And
people want to have fun.
If you can have some fun and make that point, that's the sweet spot. It's just goofing off is just goofing off. But my favorite kind of comment that I get from people is so fun and so true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
So
you can't just be silly all day. Like, you have to get.
I can try, but yeah.
You probably can. That you can get away with it. Okay, so data puppets. You mentioned that a few times, and I see one of your data puppets. Like,
data puppets here. We got the chief dog officer this way. We've got
tell us about the puppets.
The Antilist from Gardner. We'll show you a clip there. So I have a whole series called Data Puppets. If you're not familiar with it, just simply Google the term data puppets. I've got 100% organic reach with this term. Google has never seen the words data and puppets next to each other. So there is no below the fold. You just see nothing but my stuff. It's an SEO marketer's dream. I'm loving it. But I created this series of characters, the CDO, the chief dog officer, the ITB that Kate interviewed when we were at Data Universe, the cat sultan from Meow Kinsey. There's a whole board level group that the CDO has to pitch to. The CEO's an elephant. Kate played that. The CFO is a fish. The CMO is a mouse. You see where we're going here. And this
I forgot I used to be a puppet, Scott. I actually was one of the puppets.
Yes, you were one of the puppets. Yes.
And then I interviewed a puppet.
So there's a whole epic multi-part series coming. We're going to be putting it out on Dataversity. More to come on that. And I've even done some content part of it. So to your example, brand content kind of breaking through the clutter. I was really thrilled and fortunate to work with the IBM's data band. And the creative challenge they gave me was, how do you explain something really digital, a real digital problem called data observability? But I had to use one of the most analog form of storytelling, which are puppets, to explain that. So we had the CDO and we had a data engineer, which was a raccoon that was played by the brand was the hero. So the client voice was Ryan Yackel from Data Band. He played the raccoon, and we had a band. They said they always wanted to have a data band. So we had this little band of bots that were observing data, these little eyeballs. And when they saw something wrong with the data, they played an instrument, and there were more and more of them because there were more and more problems with the data. And they exploded into this big band. And
yeah, I remember. I love that one. And I do think that they are one of the companies that are willing to experiment, because I also did a specialty coffee show with Ryan where we talked about data observability and how it relates to specialty coffee. So taking one of your passions, and if you can relate it to the problem and help tell a story and explain it in a more fun way than just saying data observability is important and here are the reasons and here's your company needs it. Like, okay.
Yeah, I used ping pong balls to set up. Ping pong balls were data, and they were going through these little tracks and these clear tubes. And when the tube broke, that was the data pipeline that was broken, and the balls were falling out. And you set it up, people got it right away, as long as you set it up correctly.
Right.
That's part of it too, the context. It's really important initially to set the context clearly so people know, what world am I in? What's and they go with it right away if you set it up clearly. So that's part of the craft of storytelling.
Yes, and I want to show the audience a couple of clips. Just trying to see. Pedro's in here, the data ninja, keeping the human signal above the digital noise out there.
There we go. Hashtag data ninja. Hashtag now. Hashtag Pedro.
Yes, planning matters. Puppets, tubes, and balls. Got it. Cool. So
first, we got some clips.
We've got some clips. I think I want to do the Antolist.
The Antolist.
The BTS first, because I want people to see what it looks like. Because I walk around with you sometimes while you're doing these puppet videos. I want people to see what the behind the scenes looks like before we get to the final cut. So I'll play that one real quick, and these are very quick.
So what I did at Gartner, Kate and I were at Gartner on 2 separate projects, but then we worked together on some stuff. We had Deep Vibe down there doing a ton of stuff for us. They were fabulous. I had this little puppet, this little lawn character here of the Antolist, and I went around to booths and I interviewed anybody's mascot, if they had a stuffed animal or a premium of some sort, and I interviewed those. I said, I'm the Antolist from Gartner, and we're going to have a one-on-one. And here's a behind the scenes version. And then we'll show you a clip of just a couple of them I did, because I barely edited this, but go ahead.
Okay. So, but before I roll it, I want the audience to guess how many stuffed animals Scott has in his house, like from conferences, just ballpark. All right. I'm going to roll the clip.
Well, this is amazing.
It's the Atlan Bear. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic as well. What do you guys do?
What do we do? What do you mean, what do we do? You know Atlan.
I don't know Atlan.
Atlan is a metadata platform.
I just paused on that guy because he's just like, what the heck is going on in our movie?
I remember there was one, I think this is another conference, where you just start, like, you just go up to people and you're like, hey, let's just start talking. And then this one guy's like, hey, am I allowed to do this? Hey, marketing, can I be in this video?
Yeah, he yelled over, Steve, is this okay? Like, Steve's like, sure, we don't even know what it is.
And some people get really into character and start doing voices. And then there are others who are like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just going to keep doing it, which is
I
hilarious.
try to egg them on, but it's so fun to just get people to just jump right in because we don't even have time. I said, we're on now. This is it. Go right now.
We got some guesses. Don't tell us yet. So Pedro thinks
Okay.
285. George
Pretty close.
thinks they're 40. All right, guys, keep guessing. I'm going to show the actual.
So now we got a
clip now.
couple of clips with the Antilis from my point from my point of view. From the
Yes, we'll go off screen for this one. It's a 40-second clip. We'll be right back.
To get going, we're excited. VIP, baby. That's right. First class for us. That's why we're only a 40-minute bus ride away. Wait a minute. Wait, I'm going. What? Yeah. Hi, we're at Thought Spot. We're doing an inquiry with the Antilis from Gardner. How are you?
Great.
What do you guys do?
We are the AI-powered analytics platform for all your cloud data.
What's all this about dashboards being dead? How can they
They
possibly
are dead.
be dead?
Dead.
Really?
Squash them like a fire ant, like splat them.
Squash them like what did you say? I have
fire
a little
ant.
trouble with that. With like a what?
A fire ant.
Really? You're moving right down the magic quadrant right now with that kind of comment, I'm telling you. Talking to this guy here, what's up? Hello? Can you tell me? What do you guys do? I guess this interview's a bust.
I have 20 of these. I interviewed 20 different characters at least at Gartner, and we're gonna have some fun with that one. Once I get into the editing bay.
I didn't even see that last one before. That was funny. I remember that booth. It was
Remember
pretty.
that booth? They had all these like Gothic or whatever classical busts, and they wouldn't talk to me. They were like, "No, we don't want to do it." I said, "I'm just
So
going to."
you just talk to yourself.
Going to do something with your stuff.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So in terms of doing things at conferences, I want to play your very quick InfoSets intro just to show some of the style. So I'll go ahead and roll that one now.
Hi, everybody. Scott Taylor, the Data Whisperer here at the Gartner Data Analytics Show. We're going to be talking to the go-to-market folks at InfoSeps to find out what's on their mind and what's in the customer's heart when it comes to data and analytics.
Awesome. I love that. And
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead first, Mike.
And you talk, nothing like having a crew with you, really. Having the D5 team there, 2 cameras, Gilday throwing prompts at you, Isamar just making sure it all works well. It does people might think you get nervous or kind of uptight about it, having all these people. For me, it's a complete release. It's an ability to focus on what I'm really supposed to do there, which is convey some sort of message or talk to somebody about a story instead of when you're doing it on your own. Is this sound working? Did I have that shot? Is my battery running low? Did they say, you're thinking about, there's a reason they brought 8 people to Data Universe.
Yes.
There's a reason why, as a one-man band, you can't do what all these 8 people do regardless. So it's a big leap. It's an investment on the brand side, but I think it pays out immediately through quality, through the reusability we have, through, again, the way these people will look on camera.
Yeah.
Which everybody I've worked with or interviewed when we're working with D5, I've told them this is the best footage you're ever going to get of yourself.
Yeah. I agree. And I think in that last clip, you were just happy not to share the mic because we know.
Yes.
We all know now that you do not share. Scott does not share the mic. Just putting it out
Bring
there.
more mics.
Okay. Speaking of Mike, I have a surprise later.
That's what I talk about.
But there's a lot I want to talk about. So Gilday also said 86. So how many do you think you have from conferences? And I know you keep them all, right?
I have a big box of them. I don't bring them all home. I probably have I think George is probably closest, about 40 at this point.
Just 40. I have more than that because I've got kids and I bring them home for the kids.
Yeah, so I didn't bring them all home.
All right. So I want to talk about influencer marketing. We are seeing, I think both of us are seeing clients sort of waking up like, hey, we think we want to do influencer marketing. And most of them have no clue. They maybe just hired someone who's in charge of influencer marketing. They don't know who the players are in this space. Sometimes when I tell new people I meet that I do influencer marketing, they are picturing Instagram models. And I'm like, no, all my clothes are on. I talk about data. Like it's completely different than what you would picture from a typical influencer, right? So are you seeing this uptick as well, where clients are like, yeah, we want to talk to more influencers. We want that their authentic voice and content to share our story, our message?
Yes, I am. I'm as busy as ever, both on I'm seeing longer term relationships, which are great.
Yep.
But then also some, both you and I get paid to post. So somebody sends like, can you post this? Can you amplify this? Can you talk about this event? Can you talk about this download? And it's a thrill at this point, and certainly in my career, to feel like I've got enough of a following that people will listen to what I'm saying. I don't expect everybody does 100% of what I'm talking about, but it's really exciting and we're still in the early innings here. It's very developed on the consumer side. It's not so developed. It's being discovered on the B2B side. And I think part of that is showing them that it isn't all, dancing around in our swimsuits and drinking, crazy stuff on the beach or whatever the consumer version of that. It's showing that, look, we're going to sit down and talk to your CEO and get into the essence of what your strategy is and what your customer challenges are. It's getting other thought leaders on the other side of the camera, on the other side of the mic that we can talk to and get their point of view in a way that's really digestible. And we've said it 1,000 times and we'll keep saying it. And then the production values and the delivery mechanisms really matter. So any kind of negative feelings people might have about, again, this one-man band approach, we're trying to overcome both with working with Deep Vibe and then also the stuff we're doing on a broader basis with the data vendors.
Yeah. Who are the data vendors?
Got me, you. There's 7 of us, right? Sleepy, Sneezy, Dopey, Doc, Happy, Bashful, Grump. Those are our code names.
7 dwarves.
7 dwarves. Me, you, Kristen, Christina, George, Andrew, Jordan. Who did I miss?
Andrew, Rabbit. There's a bunch of us. There's like 10.
Rabbit's been in. Susan's been in
ebbs
and out.
flows.
But
So
we're this group of, we're an organized group. And part of this came from brands reaching out to us individually, all of us already being friends online.
yeah.
And we all went to that. We all realized we were going to Big Data London last year. There were 10 of us going to Big Data London. And we went, we could do something. Instead of brands reaching out to us individually, let's go to brands and say, we have this coordinated network. We're all individual content creators. We all have a really strong point of view. We all have some kind of industry expertise. We've all been recognized in some way or another by third parties. We're all unaffiliated with any particular brand. So we truly are independent. We've all got a wide creative range. And we all have this genuine camaraderie that says we will work and support with each other in an ensemble that's only grown tighter and only grown better with each successive event that we've done. So we've got 2 now under our belt, and we're looking for more. We're in the planning stages on, okay, what do we do next?
We're also very humble, and we don't brag about ourselves ever.
Yes.
So, okay, first thing, quickly, what did George win? Does he get to win all your stuffed animals?
Yeah, you can come and get the stuffed animals. You win the stuffed animals, FOB, Data Whisperer World Headquarters here in Black Rock, Connecticut. Come and get them. You can have them.
And then, Pedro was talking about Mike arm wrestling. So we said the word Mike so many times that I think it triggered something in the air where we actually got Mike.
Here he is.
Gilday. He
There
doesn't
he
like
is.
the name Mike. You're on mute, by the way. He goes by Gilday. He's the CEO and ECD. I don't know, what is that? Executive Creative Director, I'm assuming, of Deep Vibe.
Creative Director. Yeah.
And
All
you got
right.
that sound. Listen to that guy's sound, just dripping off of that sound.
Of course it is.
How do you do?
It's a million times. So I've got notes, guys.
Okay.
You want me
good.
to start at the top of the list or like 3/4?
Yeah. So now you get a behind the scenes look on how we really work with.
We take that feedback well. Go ahead,
I
Gilday.
mean,
Tell
you
us
know
what's
that
going
the
on.
work is, the work is good that we do because you put up with me and my attitude and still want to continue to collaborate with us. So.
It goes both ways. I think you've had to manage 10 different attitudes. So
No, you guys are great. And what I love, and I'll say this in front of you, even though I'd probably say it behind your back more likely, is your willingness and ability to continue to try and learn and advance and get more sophisticated in what you're doing, and not take, you know, our advice and suggestion as criticisms, but more as opportunities to,
Of course.
you know, to evolve. And that kind of mindset is huge, because we all have lots to learn, all of us. So.
Yeah, definitely. So, Gilday, I want to give you the stage for a couple minutes to talk to everyone about Deep Vibe.
Oh no. I think they just wanted to go out and go to the bathroom. Deep Vibe is a creative agency, a modern creative agency. We do everything from idea to execution, script to screen. We are full service creative agency, so we do branding and design and writing, but we are definitely our foundation is in video, 2D and 3D animation, live action. We focus primarily on tech B2B brands. It's an area that is close to our heart, that we have a lot of experience in. We like telling B2B stories. The audience's needs are unique. Their expectations are unique. So we try to tell stories that are authentic, rooted in the technology itself, and will actually break through the noise and the clutter and actually provide some value to the consumers of the content, the software purchasers. Scott talked earlier a lot about multi-level selling, and how important it is. No one person makes these decisions at an organization. So being able to reach all different kinds of people who influence major purchase decisions in ways that are familiar to them, that has variety, that are dynamic is really important. So, we focus on certain areas that will drive, ideally drive people further down the funnel. But doing that in a way that keeps the story at the center and is engaging and interesting. The biggest sin in any marketing is being boring. People underestimate how much
Scott
money
actually has a huge sign that says "Don't be." Oh, there it is. He brings that with him.
I mean, people are worried about offending people or doing whatever, and those are valid concerns, within bounds. But really, the enemy is apathy. There's so much content out there. There's so much noise. The noise is your enemy. You won't get heard, and it doesn't matter how much time, effort, money you put into any one piece of content or any campaign. If it is so droll, if you don't engage somebody, like in a video, if you don't engage them in the first 5 to 7 seconds, all your work is for nothing because no one ever saw it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those are basic, irrefutable laws of attention. If you don't get them in,
and then you
and it's even more now. The competition is enormous for attention.
Yeah, across all the social media platforms. I mean, everywhere else, right? But people are definitely waking up and realizing the power of just holding attention, getting attention, cutting through the noise, which to me, it's like easier to do because I've sort of gotten over the fear of people saying, "Oh my God, did you see what she did?" Like, I don't care. Yeah, I did. Now what? Like, okay.
Yeah, but what's the key part of that sentence? Did you see what she did?
Exactly. You saw, you watched. So that's exactly.
There's always going to be somebody. You always have somebody who doesn't like it or whatever, and you can't play to that. So if you think that if you want to create something that everybody will like, by its very nature, it's going to be the lowest common denominator, pablum kind of, and everybody probably won't really like it. They'll probably think it's okay,
or they'll just never see it.
Right.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. Like, if no one sees it, it didn't happen. Well, something happened. You lit money on fire. I mean, that's an effect. Is it the intended one? Is it part of your strategic objectives? Probably not.
Right. But you tried.
The many things I love about working with you and your team, Gilday, is one of them, of course, and I'm fond of saying it. Because of your background in tech brands as well, in software and data and the work that you do, you understand what's going on behind the camera, but you understand what's going on in front of the camera and can help us get that story out. So it's not like we're working with just a professional film crew that's going to do whatever we say. Because a lot of the value, which brings us into the second idea, thought a ton of the value comes from you and your team giving us that feedback, telling us we want to set this up. Oh, here's another idea. And I know for me personally, the reason I'm so open to it is if you come from working by yourself, your only director and producer is yourself, and everything you do isn't right. Everything you do doesn't work. Everything you do doesn't land. And having that perspective is tremendously valuable.
Yeah, a lot of times it's not even, like you said, having so many people on set. It's not even about who does it the best or who knows the most or who has the most experience. It's more eyeballs, more brains, and more hands. Like if you're gonna invest in a moment, capturing something, trying to get more of a life out of it, we push creative investments all the time. It's a big thing that we believe in. A lot of the brands that we work with don't have unlimited money, but if they're gonna entrust us with a large amount of money, it's best when you take that shot to make sure it's the best shot that you can, and to be able to get the most life out of it. When you're trying to make waves, like in PR or anything, when you're trying to make waves, making one wave every minute, it's not gonna get ripples that anyone sees, but if you can make as many waves at one time, you have a shot of getting noticed, and ideally then your message resonating and getting its hooks in people.
Yeah, I was just going to comment on what Scott was saying, how you guys tell us what to do. That's my favorite part. When our last time, what was it, a week and a half ago, where we were at Data Universe, I got to the Starburst booth. I introduced myself to the team. I'm like, okay, I met the CEO. And they're like, so do you think we should stand here or here? I'm like, oh, I have no idea. I'm like, I'm not even going to try. I don't even care anymore. I'm like, they'll just tell us where to stand. And then you guys came in and you're like, okay, you over there, you stand this way, you stand that way, face this. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I just have to show up and, remember what I'm talking about for the most part. But that's really it. It makes it so much easier.
I mean, in that circumstance, we didn't have a lot of options. So sometimes we're looking this way. But, other places we're on a conference floor, we got a full 360, we can decide where we're going to look. But,
and it's such a workout, which is fun. When we were at Big Data London and some of the stuff we did at Gartner, when you just get the Gilday prompts from behind the camera, you don't hear those in the end result, but he's trying to get us to talk about something. And they're quick. They're not big, long, they're like, why does this suck? And I remember I was doing one thing, I was talking about a concept and you just yelled, what about the money? Don't forget the money. Okay, yes, if you want to learn more about this, it was my cue to go into, okay, here's my call to action.
Well,
but it just keeps you on your toes, keeps you thinking, keeps it fresh, and you don't have to. Again, for me, it's a relief. For me,
Yeah.
Well, it's intentional.
On a team, and there's a lot of relief.
The technique is intentional.
When Gilday turns into a cheerleader to get me to like wake up a little bit, and he just starts doing, I can't even do it, the whole shake, or just telling me, come on, this is why we're here. Come on, look excited. And by that point, it's been like 8 hours into a conference and I'm done. And I'm like, but he knows that last few seconds will count in how it shows up on screen. So I really appreciate all the cheerleading that you did.
Well, I just put myself in that situation because I am the worst person at faking enthusiasm.
You can't fake it.
People can. I mean, I worked in Hollywood. There's people who make whole careers out of it. They tend to be empty in the middle as humans, but they then pour other things to it. I am not that person. But to your point, when you have those 10 seconds that really matter, you gotta somehow make sure it's turned on for that little bit of time. Then you can go back to being sour like I am all the time.
Our second day at Gartner, I was exhausted. I had done those 20 or so interviews with the ant. Then I got all changed and we went to your offsite studio to do some very straightforward, more serious discussions with the folks at InfoSeps. And one of them was about 45 minutes. And I got a note from you that I rarely get, which we were closing. And then you wanted us to do it over again. And you said, can you do it with some energy this time? It's rare that I get that, but even I can run out of gas. It's just like, let's go.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah.
It's exhausting because you have to be on, right? It's not faking enthusiasm, but it is like this sort of channeling your inner, oh my God, I'm so happy to be here. And kind of, I don't know if that's fake. I guess it might be.
No, but being
Well,
on
no,
is
but
a very important concept. Being on is when, when the cameras go on, when we're talking to people, when we're engaging people at conferences, when right now where our energy level, our intensity, our focus are different than when we're off. That's why
Yeah.
they call it off and on, but that
Yeah.
it takes an incredible amount of kind of reserve to do that. I mean, reserve energy, and you can just be exhausted after this in a way.
no,
that you won't probably be.
I try to explain this to people all the time, but you guys understand it because you have to do it all the time. When I interview people for testimonials or whatever for 4 or 6 hours, you have to be the energy for that person the whole time, not just when you're talking, but the whole time you have to be an active listener. You have to be, and helping them mirror the energy that you're giving off so that they stay up. And that is an incredibly draining thing. Plus, you're thinking about what they're saying right now. You're thinking about the next question you should ask. You're thinking about, is that all work? Like, especially, and then when you guys try to do one-man band stuff on top of that, like that's just too many variables to shove into a brain at one time. I have a lot of respect for what you guys do and have done, but being able to focus on more being the personality and have the other stuff, be taken care of to some extent, I think helps. But regardless, it is so draining.
It is
incredibly draining.
That's why I call you every opportunity I get. And I'm like, Gilday, I've got this thing coming up. You guys want to do it? And you're like, yeah, let's do it. So
I mean,
we've done a lot
too.
together.
It's
We were
beforehand.
at Big Data London last year. I know, Kate, you've done some other things with them.
we did
Then
Alteryx before that.
partner, then we were at Data Universe, and we're looking for our next gig here. So,
oh yeah, next gig's coming right up. So I know, Scott, you wanted to show some stuff. Let's start with the pictures.
I have some slides, I guess. Should I show
I'm
these?
gonna put those up. You can.
There you go. Here's
Is that Gilday there? No, hold on.
That's Enver. Right, there's Gilday.
Yep, I see him.
Brandon, we're doing our little testimonial about Deep Vibe in the
which is gonna be great, by the way.
Oh, good. I can't wait to see it. Here we are, the setup, the offsite setup. They had this fabulous offsite setup. And again, showing this to a client already, we're ahead. So that's the CEO, Shashank Garg of Infoceps, and multi-camera. We've got so much content from that interview that we've barely begun to mine, but it is just so exceptional in the look and the quality of it, and then obviously the content part, what he was saying. Here's our booth. Our thrilled booth. That's the before version of it, designed by the Deep Vibe team. They did just a gorgeous job. It was so fun. We were so excited. And that booth really turned into a studio. And that's where I really kind of think it was like a on location studio that we had 15 people work in that space. And I think a testament to our ensemble ability is that we can, 15 of us can get in that space. Nobody gets on anybody or anybody's nerves or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's true. I never thought about that. We do get along pretty well.
Just to show you some, so now completing into the data venture stuff, here was our finale moment at Data Universe. We always celebrate the finale with a Kristen split. Here it is in Big Data London. So that's become a tradition. Our second day when we do events tends to be some sort of theme day. So we've got polka dots at Big Data London. For Ontotext was our brand. Their slogan was Connect the Dots. For Starburst, that was easy. We had stars. Brought some polka dot balloons. We have kind of a saying internally, Kate and I, when we talk about setting this stuff up, and Gilday, you'd appreciate this too, because these things just don't. What we say is the polka dot balloons don't just happen. This stuff doesn't just happen spontaneously. There's a tremendous amount of planning. You got to buy stuff. It's got to make sure it works. I know I'm always taking things back afterwards that we didn't either use or it didn't work.
Oh, I have so many star glasses.
You've got to think, and you've got to bring that stuff there.
My kids love it though. All the stuff I bring back.
Well, I mean, what Kate did to get the awards for the DATAcated Booth Awards to Orlando, was quite the odyssey.
But it was worth it.
And getting the heels there apparently was a big deal. And
I don't remember anything about that.
I was admonished many times that the heels had to make it into the edit.
Here's our team shot, which is always fun. We always pull everybody up on stage when we can. And we're talking about our client, our customer heroes here. Here's Adrian at Starburst with his red star sunglasses. And I don't know if you can totally see it, but he has this gold shimmering
Ridiculous light up
crown. And he just went for it. He just
I love it.
Believe me, we didn't tell them that we were giving him this. And then Doug Kimball from On to Text in the middle there, we gave him a cape and some eye shades. And he just went nuts with it. So it's in everybody. We hope we just help bring it out of them, but that natural ability is just wonderful to see. And then this is another little behind the scenes. We'll show you a clip from this in a moment. But I wanted to be able to do deep vibe version of the puppet. So we had a quick puppet interview, and that's how you do. It ended up being a great setup. That table, fun. And because in puppetry they tell you want to extend as high as possible. So having that hand straight up was.
I was glad when we got that sandbag under your butt. I felt bad.
That was it. That was it. Like, do you want something to sit on? Yes, please. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, and it gets tiring, right? Like you're holding up your hand the whole time. That's
and having the monitor there, it was just such a blast. So we'll show you a clip of that.
All right, we're gonna roll the clip. A very quick clip. It's gonna be a minute clip of this.
Okay.
This is Kate Strachnyi tuning in live from Data Universe. I'm here with the ITB. I'm so happy to talk to you today. How is your day going?
I'm great, honey. How are you? It's great to see you. Thanks for having me.
It's great to see you as well. I wanted to ask, what are you seeing new at Data Universe?
Oh, what we're seeing new is the same stuff everywhere. All of a sudden, everybody's talking about Gen AI. That's everywhere. You know, I love the buzzwords. That's part of what I do. And I realized it seemed quite simple. Everything we're already doing in legacy, all I have to do is say, hey, now we got Gen AI. That'll work. Just add Gen AI. We do regular AI. And actually, if I can admit this, sometimes we tell the business we're doing AI, but it's really machine learning. That's what we do. So they can't tell the difference. They don't know.
Well, ITB, thank you so much for taking the time. I have something for you here.
Oh, you
I hope you enjoy it.
Here
you go. That's for you there.
I really like the pop. Oh. That's what they had for lunch here? That was it? I had that in the box. That's all there was? That's terrible.
I don't know. I just cannot laugh. I'm sorry. So, Gilday, full story. It was like after the clip, I told him, I'm like, hey, why did you eat the flour? But it looks like I'm actually putting the flour into the bee's mouth. And Scott, is the bee there with us right now? Where's the ITB?
The bee's spot.
I've got something.
Oh, do you? Okay, well, we'll take that. I almost wept with joy, Gilday, when you put the chair behind the bee. To see that shot, it just made it just that much more real.
I mean, my favorite part is when you started mumbling when you had flour in your mouth. It was a nice touch. It sold it.
So we definitely had fun with what we do for work.
Definitely have fun.
And I want to, thank the audience for joining our live show. I know it's not the typical live show that we normally do where we talk about data and explain data concepts. But I definitely had fun. I hope everyone learned something about how to cut through the noise with B2B marketing. Learned that Deep Vibe is available for creative agency hire, and we can't really work without them at this point. You heard about the Data Avengers, which are content creators in the data AI analytics space that can come to your event, help you promote whatever it is that you want us to promote, as long as it relates to data AI, ML analytics. We'll be there. And you saw some of the puppets footage. So we've got a lot of footage we're sitting on from Data Universe and other stuff that we'll be sharing. So make sure you're following all of our pages. But any last words? We'll start with Scott. Anything you want to?
I just can't wait to see what we do next. It's just so fun. But I also know we got a lot of editing to do. All of us. We got so much content that we've got to start to package it up to release it there, both the brand stuff and some of the crazy stuff I did and then the group stuff. But it's just a joy working with the both of you and the extended team, and I'm having the time of my life.
And Gilday, any final words?
Thanks for pulling me in. Sort of surprised. I was supposed to be on set today and they ended up doing it without me. So this was a fun surprise. I'm sorry I didn't have sunglasses that I wasn't able to match your great sunglasses.
I mean, we gave you like a 30-second heads up before bringing you on the show. I'm surprised you weren't prepared. But you had
technically
glasses.
I have sunglasses somewhere, but I don't. But no, I mean, we've had a lot of fun so far. You know, I'm glad you guys are getting mileage out of it, and I look forward to stuff. You know, luckily, Deep Vibe is doing very, very, very well right now. So hopefully, we're able to keep it up. And you know, the more successful we are, the more we can find ways to collaborate on the things we really like working with you guys, with the Data Avengers, and you two specifically as well. And you know, as I mentioned to you before, it's such a great group of people in the Data Avengers. Everyone is so kind and nice and smart and thoughtful and even keeled, and you all collaborate so well. And I think that's a very special thing. And you know, I think the broader industry will realize that over time. But I think keep doing what you're doing.
We can't hear it enough, so keep going. I love it. Every time you
a lot
say
more
it,
stories to tell here. A lot more stories to tell.
I will never interrupt that spiel, so I love it. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining. We'll see everybody online. All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.